On this Christmas Eve, I would like to talk about the craft books that got me started as a writer. Hello, my name is Charlie and welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to talk to you about the craft books that got me started. These are some of the first craft books that I ever read that helped to turn me into the writer that I am today, for better or worse. And I don't see a lot of these books getting much love because, well, some of them are really old. The first book, and the book that I think every writer should read, mainly because it was written by one of the greatest writers of the English language, in my opinion, ever so humble as it is, and that is Zen and the Art of Writing by Ray Bradbury. If you don't know Ray Bradbury, then you are missing out. He is a wonderful writer. He is a brilliant writer. He's up there as just one of my absolute favorites of all time. This book is kind of part memoir, part craft book, where he takes you through his career and the techniques that he used to become a writer. I still reference this book today. His method of ideation, which I'm going to do probably an entire video on because it doesn't make sense when you just say it out loud. It's one of those things that makes sense by doing, so I want to actually show it to you. His method for ideation and coming up with story ideas really helps me out a lot and gets me through a lot of the hard times. This book is just filled with so many highlights and underlines because I found so much in here that I just absolutely loved, that just made me think different and made me want to write stories. His rules for how to get started, how to have a career, how to tell a story, everything. How to feed your muse, probably one of the best chapters in a craft book I have ever read. If you have not read Zen and the Art of Writing by Ray Bradbury, I highly recommend it. This book literally changed my life. That's not even a joke. I'm not exaggerating there. This book was magical. The next book, the one that stays on my desk perennially, because I still reference it all the time, and you have actually heard me talk about this on the stream numerous times. This is Worlds of Wonder by David Gerrold, that again is filled with just about every bit of knowledge that you could ever want. Namely, because one of his main dictums is that you should keep your chapters short. Most of the chapters in here are just a couple pages long, but they're direct and straight to the point. And this is, one, a very good basic book. If you're just starting out as a writer, this goes through everything from opening lines to closing lines to chapter length, point of view, how to use metaphor, theme, everything. This is a powerful book, and I honestly still use its advice to this day. My scenes are never more than 800 words. I got that from this book. Well, I say never. You're allowed some fluctuation above and below that, but you don't want to let your story lag. And so keeping that quick pace, keeping the story going is something that I desperately try to do in my own work. His novum lists, everything. This book is just amazing. It is wonderful, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're just getting started as a writer. This is this is actually the first time I ever saw this word. And it's not just what memes are, but how to use memetics to make your story better and clingier. And it's done very simply, very shortly. You can see I still have a bookmark in here, and it's done with charts so that you understand exactly what each type of meme is. And I'm not talking about like internet memes, I'm talking about like actual memes. Such a good book. Highly recommend this. Now, this one is more for the struggling writer, I would say, than for the beginner, though this has a lot of good beginner notes in it if you are getting started. This is the Marshall Plan for Novel Writing. I absolutely love this book. I actually have every book in this series, including the workbook. So you have the Marshall Plan for writing, the Marshall Plan for editing, the Marshall Plan for marketing, and even the workbooks to go with them. I would not have finished my first actual novel.
I'd written a couple before that, but they were trash.
This book taught me how to do the outlining that I needed to do. This taught me how to conceive of a story so that it would actually make sense from start to finish. I don't think, of all the books that I'm talking about, I think this one may be the least necessary for people. Like, this was very good when I first started because this taught me discipline. That's what this book is about. It's about discipline. It takes the metaphor of the Marshall Plan of setting yourself up, an exacting plan on how you're going to execute the story, how you're going to execute getting to the end and following through. This gave me discipline to be a writer. So if you lack discipline as a writer and want to build some, this book may help you. But beyond that, I do like his scene structure, and I still use some of the ideas from his concept of scene structure, but I don't think it's fundamentally different from a lot of other people's, so I don't know that it's worth reading the book just for that. This also was really cool when I say this is about structure, this is patterning for starting a book. It tells you how to determine how many viewpoint characters a book should have based on your target word count. How many scenes, how many characters, how many words. This is a very interesting book. I actually still have spreadsheets based off of this book that I use when I'm planning my series out. Now, the last two here are, I guess I would say, extra credit. I quote these so much, and one idea has really permeated all of my fiction, but I think that, like, if you want to be a writer, these are great books to read, but they're on the border of being craft books. There's some really good craft stuff in here, though, and that's Stein on Writing and How to Grow a Novel by Stein. These books are, one, so much about the industry, especially in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, that is really interesting historically speaking, especially when you look at today. A lot of what's going on in the industry today, I see through the prism of how business worked back then, and I don't see too much difference. It's a really good insight into the industry and how the industry worked. His idea of the crucible, how you take two characters, giving them the same goal, and how to actually structure that into your story is really good. Every time you hear me say Ruby Dust, that's actually one of the stories from here. These books are covered in highlights, and it's stuff that I have really used a lot. Now, like I said, there's some really good stuff in here, especially in this one, How to Grow a Novel, if you want more of a crafty craft book. But I learned so much about writing from these that I don't think I would be the writer that I am without them. I have a whole shelf over here of craft books, and I'm going to be talking about craft books more on the channel. So if you would like to hear more about any particular thing in here, like I said, I am going to be doing videos about some of the techniques and stuff from these in future videos, but I've been asked a couple times what were the books that got me started. Here they are. These are them, and I can't, this one especially, well actually these two I cannot recommend enough. If you've never read Zen in the Art of Writing or World of Wonder, read these books. They will help you out, and they're really good reference books, especially World of Wonder. This is a very good reference book because anytime you're like, oh, how did that one POV work? It's in here. Any of those little questions, it's in here. What books made you the writer that you are? Maybe I will talk about them too, because I've read quite a few. And if maybe you've read one that I haven't read, which would be awesome, because like literally there's an entire bookcase over there of craft books that I have read over the years trying to become a better writer. Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and maybe subscribe and hit that notification bell. I stream twice a week, once on this channel on Wednesdays and Fridays on my other channel, Project Shadow, starting in the new year. And because the world is a nightmare hellscape that we have not gotten any work done on the things that are important, say it with me now. Black Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights, and trans identities are magic. And until next time, may you have the courage to ride your dreams into reality, and don't forget to have the fun. Bye.